What is going on, trainers? DrumVillain here, bringing you some more Pokemon Go PvP content, and today we're talking about the Catch Cup, or you might as well just call it the Great League, or the Broken Catch Cup, because for the first 12 hours that this cup was available, they obviously just copy-pasted the coding for this cup from the previous season, which meant that they didn't change the date for this season, so anything from the last 2 seasons could be used, which is the team I'm using in this video are all Pokemon that I caught last season, just to try them out. I've used Araquanid before, and I am quite fond of it, but I haven't really had much experience using Zweilous or Diggersby before, but I thought I'd just give them a go, chuck them together in a team and just kind of see what happens. There is some glaring weaknesses to this team. I'm not saying that this team is amazing, they're just interesting Pokemon. I wanted to have a quick mess around with them since I'm very, very casual right now leading up to the end of the season. I'm not leaderboard chasing or anything like that. I haven't really done many battles since I actually got my shiny Pikachu Libre. I've just been kind of taking it easy, taking a break for a couple of weeks, so then when the grind starts again in a week's time, I'm a little bit more refreshed on Go Battle League and happy to hit it a little bit harder. Now, if you are looking to climb in the last few days of Catch Cup in the season, you're desperate to make that last push to the next rank or something like that, or just going for an ELO high of the season, then it's worth bearing in mind in the Catch Cup in general. There are some things to bear in mind because it does play very much like the Open Great League, and a lot of the same Pokemon are very, very meta relevant, but the main difference is that some Pokemon you just can't have in this cup. Things like Deoxys, but where are you going to get a Deoxys during this season, you know? Some of the legendary Pokemon that haven't been available this season are very, very difficult to obtain in a usable fashion for this cup, if impossible. So it's worth building around knowing that some Pokemon aren't going to be used. Like, if you haven't got to build a team that can deal with Defense Form Deoxys because you're not going to see it. You don't have to build a team that can deal with Registeel because you're not going to see it. On the other side of that spectrum, it's worth considering what Pokemon have been available during this season. What are the strongest PvP Pokemon that have been spawning during this season? So picks like Cofagrigus, which has obviously been available during the Halloween event, and is very strong in the Great League in general. You're probably likely to be seeing those quite a bit because most people are going to have obtained one, maybe built one for the first time. There's been a few more opportunities to get Lickitung during this season. So with Lickitung being one of the strongest picks overall in the Great League, most people are going to be working on building one because most of the strongest teams in Great League this season have been involving Lickitung, and it also saw a lot of play in the World Championships this year, so be prepared for Lickitung. But in all honesty, any strong Great League team will do well here. But like I said, it can be worth noting that some Pokemon you're not really going to be running into very much of at all. Even picks like Azumarill, which is a little bit less common in the Great League in general these days anyway, but still does see a lot of strong play. You're unlikely to see it this season because it's not been very easy access to things like Marill or Azurills to build that Azumarill. If you're like me and you're not feeling too stressed about hitting any more targets or climbing any higher during this last week and maybe just grinding out some matches, getting some practice in and gathering some Stardust, then it's worth trying out something new and experimenting. Like for me, I've never used Noctowl in the Great League myself. I've never built one, but I got hold of a good Hoot this season and evolved it up. So I'm going to be running Noctowl probably this week and just giving it a go, getting a feel of how it plays myself, because you can get used to playing against certain Pokemon, but sometimes you get a lot more insight to how that Pokemon plays and what it's weak to and what it struggles with when you actually use it yourself and you see what matchups it really does struggle to get through. On a related note, the current event, the Astral Eclipse event, which I think runs till the end of the season, pretty much, there are some really interesting Pokemon in the spawn pool for PvP that are worth grinding for some good IVs if you can find them in the wild. Picks like Alolan Vulpix, which is very nice to see in the wild. They are quite rare, but if you can get lucky and find one with very, very low attack, that can be really strong in the Great League. I'm hoping to find a better Alolan Vulpix myself for the Great League, or you can grind out some Exile candies towards building Alolan Ninetales for the Ultra League, which again, very, very strong. There are Hoots around, like I've just said, very, very interesting Pokemon. Noctowl is one of the more interesting flyers in the Great League at the minute. Picks like Clefairy, gather Excel Candy for the Ultra League, and again, get those good IV spreads. And not to forget, of course, Alolan Rattata. Obviously, Raticate is very strong in some niche cups, that Dark Normal typing being very, very effective. And Cottonee having played in some niche cups, it did get banned from the Element Cup this time in the remix version because it was so strong in the unrestricted Element Cup. So there's an interesting Pokemon to get out there and check. There are also some nice shinies as well, but I'm just taking it very casual for this last week, and like I said, we'll be trying out some new stuff. The one thing I don't recommend you do during this cup, which is something that's tempted me before, and that is rebuilding a Pokemon that I already had just to use in the Catch Cup. I did it once for Azumarill a couple of seasons ago, but that was because an Azumarill that I was using for Great League wasn't XL, and I was ready to build my XL Azumarill to use in the Great League, so I thought, well, why not build it this week and use it in that cup? And it was very, useful, as Azumarill obviously is, but I don't recommend that you just build a second Galarian Stunfisk or a second Azumarill or a second something else just to use in this cup. It's not worth it. The dust might be tempting, but you can win matches without using the strongest, most meta Pokemon. Mix it up a bit, have a bit of fun, don't take it too seriously, but if you are having a last push for those high goals, I do wish you the best of luck in the last week of this season. Now, if any of you guys are wondering why I'm seemingly completely ignoring the Open Master League, the last few times it's been in, I haven't made any content on the Open Master League, and that's because I just don't have any XL Legendary Pokemon. There's only 1 or 2 Legendaries that I've done enough raids for to get enough XL Candy to level 50 something, and if you've been in the Open Master League, even down at like Ace rank and Veteran rank, you need level 50 Legendaries to be competitive. I would not have a chance in the Open Master. It would all be about rock, paper, scissors, just landing the strongest matchups in my favour to have a chance at winning, because level 50 Legendary Pokemon are so hard to get around if you don't have the best matchups against them, because without the stats of your own level 50 Legendary Pokemon, you just can't keep up. So I'm not meaning to ignore the Open Master League, but I'm just not competitive. I don't have a team that I can use. I have like XL Metagross, XL Excadrill, and things which are strong, but again, they just struggle against the Legendaries themselves. And unless I get round to actually building level 50 Legendary Pokemon, it's not something I'm going to be able to be making much content on. If there was the Master League Classic or the Master League Premier, that is a different story. But Open Master League is just something I'm not going to be making content on, because I just do not have the resources available to me to do enough Legendary raids to get enough XL Candy for all these different Legendary Pokemon that you need to strive and stay competitive. To actually mention this team for a second, it did do surprisingly well for itself. I was a little bit surprised. I kind of expected it to be a bit of a throwaway team and not really perform all that well, but it seemed to be able to hold its own reasonably well. And shout out to this trainer, Jamie Finn, for the spice in this game. It's what Catch Cup's all about, bringing something a bit interesting, a bit different, and trying something new. They do unfortunately suffer the dreaded crash, which everyone seems to be struggling with. Currently in Go Battle League, it is mega broken right now, and Jamie actually tweeted at me after this match to say GG's and to say that he actually did suffer the, which I'd assumed, because midway through this game there's a point where it just stops responding, and it was looking like a good game. I honestly think I was going to lose, depending on what the moveset of his Apoudon in the back was running, which I would not have been expecting at all. I was definitely in a tough position in this game overall. But yeah, the current crashes in Go Battle League are absolutely horrendous. It's like, once a set, it seems like at least one trainer, whether it's you or the others, will just freeze up and it shuts them out of their game and they struggle to get back in. And honestly, that amount of time losing it in a game makes it almost impossible to win. It's just a really punishing situation. Niantic really do need to try and figure out what's going on there and get back on top of it, because Go Battle League got pretty stable for this season. It's been running pretty smoothly, and it just seems that this most recent update has just made an absolute mess of it. And you hate to see it, because honestly, I like the game. I want it to be doing well. I want it to be the best that it can be, and it just does seem to be struggling. And as you can see here, it's been about a solid minute of real time in game that it's just been locked out, and he doesn't actually get back in to this matchup before it ends. We're just going to gradually chip down the Steelix and then end up taking down the Hippowdon in the back. And it is, like I said, I was probably going to lose this match for sure. It really does depend on the moveset of the Hippowdon, but I was really struggling with that Steelix overall. It's just a shame. It's a shame to be losing matches, especially when people are still trying to climb. People are getting punished and cheated out of matchups, and 1 or 2 games can just make the difference in making that little push up into Legend rank for some trainers, or to that next goal and next target. And it just makes it frustrating to be in a competitive environment and then feel like something unfair takes, not only takes the chance to win away from you, but it can do it more than once. So let's actually talk about at least one matchup in this video, and that's going to be this one against a Shadow Alolan Marowak, which on the lead is probably the worst place for us to see it. Araquanid doesn't have the worst matchup here, but Diggersby and Zweilous both do much better against it, because they're resisting that ghost type damage, which is Alolan Marowak's main source of damage. output. So we're just going to swap straight into Zweilous, which isn't usually a very safe swap, but I've realised I've not really seen many, if any, Charmers in this catch cup currently, so I don't really feel too nervous to swap Zweilous in aggressively. And we're going to bait out a Swampert, which isn't that good of an answer to Zweilous because we can survive a Hydro Cannon. The Dragon Breath damage is going to be adding up super fast, and we're just going to be able to take them out and control. Switch advantage, the Marowak's going to come back in. Going to go straight for the Dark Pulse. If they don't shield this, it will take them out. And if they do shield it, we're just going to be able to bring in Diggersby and put some work in anyway. The opponent's going to put it all onto Trevenant with 2 shields, and this is a pretty solid position for us. We're just going to come in with the Araquanid. We're going to debuff the hell out of this thing, because with 2 shields, Araquanid can put serious work in against Trevenant, especially since we shielded up a Shadow Ball, which is very, very nice for us. We're just going to be able to grind them down here over the long haul, and we're thinking maybe we get a shield with these Bubble Beams just because the Trevenant's getting low, but we're not getting shields out of them, and that means we're just going to go for a Bug Bite down, and we're actually just going to be able to take the win, and this opponent's going to go down with 2 shields left, and we're not even going to need to use Diggersby, so GG's. So let me know down below how you guys are getting on this season. Have you hit your goals already for this season like me? You're just taking your time with it, being a bit more casual, or are you grinding like mad in this last week, trying to make that last push to your targets? And like I said, if you are, best of luck to you. Oh, also we got a shiny Onyx for the encounter, which I really don't need, but I'll take the XL candy, I guess. But yeah, be sure to hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, subscribe for more content, and I will catch all you absolute legends next time.